For years, their presence has been the linchpin of countless celebrations. The mere mention of their name boosts ticket sales with a memorable experience invariably promised. Comprising an eclectic assembly of talent, their essence is the symphony of harmonies conceived from Derek Yarde's illustrious lineage, refined by Penn's relentless pursuit of excellence, and orchestrated with Angus Christopher's strategic precision. The Derek Yarde Project stands as a musical phenomenon, the heart of St. Lucia's jam band scene, beloved and enduring. Historically elusive, they've now opened up their realm to a film crew for the first time, documenting everything from rehearsals to sound checks. We've captured their journey for nearly a year. Untold Stories present DYP, The Experience. I first paid attention to them at a New Year's Eve party in 2015. Back then, it was Tygerson Joseph, aka Penn, on drums. The bassman was Daniel Edmonds, aka Slack, and the vocalist and keyboardist was the phenomenon named Derek Yarde, aka Poohbah Son. The trio rocked the upscale guests for hours with a mixture of old tunes, groovy, dancehall, reggae, country and western, and some of their own original tracks. Over the next couple years, I paid close attention to their rise, and every time their name would pop up on a flyer, I would profit the opportunity to shake a leg. The intrigue and mystique amplified as I paid closer attention to them. I approached Angus Christopher, the owner of the band, to capture the essence of the Derek Yarde Project, or DYP, and to bring their musical notes and talented musicians to the screen. Little did I know, it would be a 10-month journey from bandroom rehearsals to police escorts, from exhausting soundtracks to the after-party. And after months of filming, it was finally time to hear their untold story. So naturally, I started with the historical.
The way it started, we had to do a talent show for the children in Marcia at the Cultural Center. And in doing that talent show, I ended up replacing the bass player that was there because he had to leave the island. And who was doing the sound for the talent show? Mr. Afatiso, MCE Sounds. And then when he heard us, he said, "You all sound good. Why don't we keep the band together?"
My dad is a musician. My mom was a musician. They met in a band. Things happened, and here I am. I was in a steel pan orchestra, and then I transitioned into a band, they would call a string band. All the steel pan guys would call it, but it's like a regular 4-piece, 3-piece band. And I worked with, my first actual band with keyboards, bass. I was a drummer, and 2 vocalists. One vocalist was Fantasy Band with KK and Sally Elwin.
What I started on was guitar, then I went to bass, and then I went to keyboards. But for all of it, I was always singing. Our first band was called Apex.
Many St. Lucian musicians cast off to sea aboard cruise ships in search of growth and a global stage. The Rolling Waves promise a diverse audience, a chance to infuse their art with the world's myriad rhythms. They trade the familiar for the thrills of new encounters, performing on a floating stage that sails them from port to port, each show an opportunity to etch their tunes into a mosaic of international hearts. In this voyage, they find their muse in the confluence of cultures, their music echoing with the pulse of the oceans they traverse. Both Penn and Derek lived on the high seas and music for years.
The experience, different cultures, different styles of music, you understand people from a different angle. And the most fascinating thing for me was being able to understand, for me, that I'm just interested in rhythm and stuff. So different cultures, when I go to Aruba, the salsa and You go to some of the French islands, the Zouk. There was so much. I mean, normally by the cruise ship, there's a lot of bands, local bands performing, to welcome the guests, and I learned a lot from there.
The time I chose to go on the cruise ship was a stage where I wanted more. And then I figured that there's more out there than just doing just soca music, a little reggae and stuff like that. There has to be more out there. Because the guys started talking about, oh, there are bands on the cruise ship and these guys are awesome, they're awesome. And then every time they come down there, I was just like, I just don't really play that type of music. Let me go and check it out for myself and see what's up with that. And it was a real eye-opener, I must say that.
After years of playing to the pulse of the sea, musicians often find themselves yearning for the rhythm of home. The cruise ship, once a vessel of dreams, gives way to a longing for greenfig and saltfish. On returning, they carry with them their fine-tuned repertoire from their travels. Their homecoming is not a retreat, but a profound crescendo.
It got a little tiring. I felt as if the routine of just the same, it's like Groundhog Day, the same thing every day, the same pool set, the same captain's cocktail, the same island night. And I felt as if I could do more. I wanted to go into production. I wanted to perform live shows. I wanted to, be a touring musician.
The last band I was with at that time was called Extent. And they were already saying that, going back on the cruise ship is a kind of thing. So since you're on vacation, let us see if we get work whilst we're on island. And it so happens that they didn't have many bands on island at the time. So we were just moving from resort to resort, maybe sometimes 4 times a week, and that was sustainable. Vertex came about because I kind of got a little fed up of just playing pop music and these kind of things like that. I mean, I don't mind it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But then it started out as a side group that I was doing with Power Plus, with Boots. A side group. And then I was like, wait a minute. But if I could finish play at a resort at a certain time and still go and do my soca and bacchanal somewhere in Vieux-Fort or in January, afterwards, why not do it?
Spectacle, we worked at the hotel by default, performing mainly island nights on different days. So we would work 3 to 4 days a week, sometimes 5. It gave us an opportunity, it gave me the opportunity to perform alongside a lot of the original and international acts. So, sometimes we'd perform Sexy in Black at the time, Color Me Red, Red Ignite, and sometimes you'd have Marshall Montano, you'd have Destra. So we'd be the opening act to back up the local artists.
Back then, Derek Yarde was the lead in Vertex Band, powered by Power Plus Sounds. Penn was the lead in Spectacle Band, powered by MCE Sounds. During the annual carnival parades, their musical rivalry was fierce, intense, and territorial. Simply put, they were not friends.
I'll be honest, even when we were on the road, he's in one band, performing for one band, and we're in another band. It would take a lot for me to play his music. And the same thing for him. He would not play ours, we would not play his, unless the revelers give us a lot of pressure and be like, yo, I want to hear that song. So the tension was definitely there. And as much as it was there, I always respected the fact that, made bad. He's not to be taken for granted.
In 2008, Angus Christopher was attached to the Royal St. Lucia Police Band. He played the keyboards and tuba. By 2008, Penn had toured the world with Maxi Priest as his drummer, and Derek was playing jam band gigs 5 nights a week at hotels and popular watering holes around St. Lucia. Interestingly, the two musicians had never worked together.
Angus Christopher approached me and he said, well, you're doing much. Why we come together and let me do something and see what happens? And I was like, okay, let's try it out. You know? So then I left Vertex. And that's when he said, but you have to think of a name for your group and it has to be about you. So when I thought about all these names, don't get me wrong, guys, I call them cruise ship names, Sapphire Band, Diamond Gem. No, I say no. This band is going to be Derek Yarde Project. That is my vibe. Because I wanted to be able to be in a way that you could see three of us, drums, bass, keys, we singing one night because it's a small venue. And when it's time for a big show, we could have a horn section and background singers and everything, but it's still DYP, Derek Yarde Project.
Everybody knew each other. So one night he called me and he's like, boy, pen in a jam. I said, what do you? Tell me I need a drummer. The drummer just, either he walked out or he had an issue or something went wrong. And I'm like, okay, you need a drummer for who? He's like, for DYP. I say, for who? DYP? The first thing I thought was, hell no.
Well, this is DYP again, no? Out and monster! Met the girl from Derry, so take her to a soca show. I bring the girl by the bar. She has front row cocoa, wondering if
When Penn showed up, I was like, what you doing there? He tell me, I'm gonna send me. I see if I'm gonna send you, all right. I see you bring your laptop. He say yes, but I like what on yours. Play what on yours. And he just fit in like nothing happened.
So Penn with his own repertoire, and here's Derek Yarde, and the bass player, who's a slack, Daniel Edmonds, a monster with repertoire as well. So the three of us did the night. It was a car park jam every Friday. And I kid you not, when we played the first song, I just felt as if like, here's who I always wanted to be, musically.
And the stage we get to now, which I'm very pleased with, is that I'm not even bothering with working with my laptop because he just has my stuff there already. And then he knows what to do, when to do, how to do. So he captaining the ship at that time. So our job now is just be the best soldiers. When it's my turn to captain, everybody have to be the best soldiers. And we're switching like that.
Because I always tell people, you could have personal issues within a band, but the music is another language, another spirit by itself. And when the three of us started to play music together, it's almost like we've been together for years. And I just felt warm, I felt good, I felt in the right place. And when Derek took over with his Burning Flame style and cassava, I'm like, yo, this is what I always wanted to do. And when I started doing all my dancehall and singing stuff, and Derek was like, yo. So the energy was just so positive, it was encouraging, it was natural. And I mean, when Derek and myself, then Slack would start, I'm like, yo. Everything was just, for me, it was just God saying, hey, stop your nonsense. That's what I want you all to do.
When we return, we meet the rest of the band. We fete at a chocolate-flavored hotel. Penn clashes with Jonos. And DYP performs at a fete that flopped.
Elevate your lifestyle and safeguard your investments with Smiley's, the most trusted name in window tinting. At Smiley's, we're not just experts, we're perfectionists, crafting each project with Suntech's century-strong, world-renowned window film. Whether it's your car, office, or home, we guarantee perfection. Tired of peeling, bubbling tints? Choose Smiley's for flawless Evolve film or energy-saving spectrally selective film. Our promise? A stellar 7-year warranty and unmatched service. Call 722-4555. Smiley's, where excellence meets sophistication.
If I would have known that you wouldn't be here anymore, I would have made the moments last a little longer. 'Cause now I'm alone, and you're just a memory in my mind. I would have given anything to say goodbye. My big bro, the general. Jay. 21 gun salute, I'll see you soon on the other side. If I would have known, if I would have known, I'd have broke parole and come home sooner. If I would have known.
In 2009, an unexpected quartet was assembled. Juan Paris on drums, Casey O'Reilly on bass, Derek Yarde on keyboards, and the soft-spoken mastermind Angus Christopher ran the outfit. The band quickly metamorphosed into Daniel Esnard aka Slack on bass, Derek Yarde on keys, and Ty Jerson Joseph aka Penn on drums, vocals, and sampling. Their repertoire was as extensive as YouTube. Their style was indistinctively St. Lucian, with an intercontinental feel. International acts counted on them for backup. By 2023, the evolution of the band brought fresh young blood.
We have Kyle, who just joined us recently playing guitar, which is a nice addition because it brings a different feel to the sound of the band. When you hear live guitar strumming, you know, and instead of something that we have pre-programmed or we have to get from somebody else, when you have that live guitar strumming, giving that kind of vibe, like you could bounce, you know, that shack, rhythmic kind of thing, he could do that. Kyle. Right now we have Sion playing with us for now, because he's holding on for Swain, who took a vacation after that carnival thing. He said he really had to take a break. I understand where he's coming from. He's not old school like us, we're still young. So he take a vacation, let him go and rest himself, coming back. Second keyboards, well, you know, I play keyboards and sing. And Penn running samples. And singing also, which he has come a long way. I know you will see something I don't care. He's come a long way with his vocal abilities.
I was always been a fan of TYP, especially Slack at the time, the bass player. He was one of my mentors in the industry. Looking up, I used to look up to him a lot. What fascinated me about him was the fact that he could have played and sing at the same time. And not just like playing any simple bass line, like intricate bass line and sing the song at the same time. And that was a wow factor for me.
Before I joined the band, I saw the band for the first time about just 1 year before. I happened to go to jazz, that was jazz at La Place Carénage, Tea Time Jazz. Right, so they were doing a performance there. I was there for a friend of mine at the time. And I watched the band just because of my love for singing at the time. And I was telling my friend, like, I'll be in that band. Like, I literally told him, just now I'll be in that band. With no idea, never having spoken to any one of the band members at the time or anything. I said, I'll be in that band. I'll be in that band pretty soon. They were performing to the songs that I knew. I was just having fun. I was singing. I was harmonizing. I'm like, yeah, that'll be my part. Like, just as fun. Literally a year later, I was a member of the band.
If
I have to be very honest. I did not know of DYP at the time. I did not know of the band. Penn gave me the call and he's like, hey, come to a rehearsal and whatnot. At the time, I still had no idea who DYP was. But I'm in the first rehearsal and I'm watching Penn and he's watching me and I'm like, hello. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go throughout these songs. You really just need to hear the songs and then try to catch your end. Because, I mean, DYP has a very, very big repertoire, so they don't really have time to say, we sit down and go throughout every song. It's you to do your due diligence, go over the work at home, and then. It worked out well. The first rehearsal was a bit shaky because he didn't say anything when we were done. He was just like, okay.
Challenges wasn't musically for me. It was just Penn. As an individual. You know, because he's a perfectionist and I mean, I didn't come in the band on no joke thing, but his level of his like master in the craft of music, like I wasn't on that wavelength as yet. So like the way he would approach it, I wasn't there as yet. So like I had to understand him as the leader because when you join some company or entity, you have to give the leader what they want. You could do it in your own way, but give him what he wants. So meaning, I had to give him a certain sound that he wanted. And then when I just joined, like, as much as I was excited and stuff, and I tell you, like, it was awesome, it went well, but it was like, oh, I could do better because the next time I come to rehearsal, I don't want him to tell me that. So if I come to rehearsal today and it's like, Gregory, the way you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, no problem. The next rehearsal, you wouldn't tell me anything.
Penn is very focused on what he's doing. It's a well-oiled machine. He's very focused on what he's doing. He gets out there and he gets the job done. And you have to help him get the job done. There's not really space for mistakes. They don't really have space for mistakes.
Well, Penn is like a shepherd leading his flock. That's the kind of role he has. Working with him it can be challenging at times, but you have to know him for you to really get along with him.
What does that mean?
Well, he's a perfectionist. And you will know what you want from him or what he wants from you. So the easiest thing is to just give him what he wants.
What is it like working with Derek?
Derek is almost like the opposite of Penn. Can be fun working with Derek sometimes. My role in the band, wow. Musical director. I'm the musical director of the band. I'm also a vocalist in the band. I am also a programmer in the band. And
take it out from the drum mix too.
I oversee everything.
5 and 6.
Derek and myself, we collaborate respectfully on a lot of different elements when it comes to putting the music together. But I'm the one who's not gonna let the smallest thing slide. You know, I'm not passive about anything because I want to be aware of everything that's happening around us musically. So I wouldn't just say musical director. I'm also the caretaker of the whole product.
The last note? What's the last note? What's the last note? The last note was 57, no? 3. The last note was 57. Yeah. Yes. Let's try it again. Welcome to the pressure zone and we body vibe.
Penn is the opposite end of me. I am more emotionally based. Penn is business based. I am more crack a joke if you. Penn is cracking joke if you see when it comes to music. You check it, left is left, right is right. They have no middle. Either you're playing it right or you're playing it wrong. Me, I'll say, you know what? Let's give it a little vibe so we could shift nice. And Pen will say, no, I don't know vibe. Tell me playing the wrong thing. My ear is good. So like we kind of bouncing off each other that kind of way. But to never say like we vex with each other or anything like that. Because you understand, music is not just a structured thing. It have emotion in it. And his emotion is for it to be, mine is for it to just be, yay. You check it, so the balance kind of works out.
Listen to where the problem coming from and address it.
All right, address it.
So they do the right thing.
Gregory on drums. That man does eat drums for breakfast. I don't know what he does do, but we love it. It's tight, it's solid, and it's punchy.
I'm the heartbeat of the band because I keep the timing. So like, if just say like, I'm playing and I lose focus for a minute, each member of the band is going to turn. It could be in rehearsals, it could be on a gig or a show. They would turn because they depending on me for that pulse.
My love for music causes me to learn songs very quickly. So I've learned a song today for today. In other words. So learning the song is really just adding a new one, depending on the vibe, depending on the occasion, depending on the gig.
Have you ever forgotten your lines on stage?
Oh, too many times. You ever think you know a song and then you realize you were singing the wrong thing all along? That's what happened to me when I was most confident. So we had our sound check as usual, getting ready. We had Moshi Jazz later in the evening. So we came up there midday, so rehearsing. I had the mic and I was singing the song as I know the song to sing. It wasn't until I heard Pen. And that's all I could say. When I heard him, I knew I was singing the wrong thing. He let me know I was singing the wrong thing.
What is really challenging about being a keyboard player in DYP is being able to follow Pen's direction. I mean, song after song, you would have to change and you would have to be on point. Like you wouldn't get any space to breathe, basically. So a song would be playing and you have to catch the other song and you cannot afford to forget songs. I don't make mess ups a problem. If I make a mistake, I make it loud.
What's Pen's reaction to that?
He's never happy about it, but I don't care. I mean, mistakes happen. I'd rather make a mistake loud than make a mistake, and I think you should play with confidence, whether you know the song or not.
Was there ever a time when you were on stage and you forgot your keys, you forgot your notes?
Yeah, many times.
What is Pen's reaction when something like that happens?
Well, you just watch with his eyes. Like he has a look you'll give. But over the years, we learned just not to watch him.
Yeah. Plenty times. Because my weakest genre of music to play was reggae. And that was Pen's strong point. I hate reggae. I still hate it. But at the end of the day, I'm a musician. I have to like it because I have to play it. That's how I get paid.
Counting, Gregory.
There we go. 1, 2, 3.
As a drummer, I am very impressed by our drummer because I remember myself in his position, and when I could safely say, I mean, at his age, the talent that he had, it was, when I was his age, I was nowhere close to that. And, you know, I love the way that he emerged. I love to see him develop, and I really think that he's one of the best drummers in the Caribbean.
favorite person in the band? I would say my drummer, Gregory. We just have that bond, that brotherhood bond.
I would say Ronnie, the bass player, because of the size of the repertoire. Sometimes he forgets songs, and he never forgets songs. So he's always the one that I could always turn to and say, you know, and he would be like, yeah, it's C, it's D, it's whatever. So
The most annoying thing about being in the band?
When I tell them fellas come to rehearsal at a certain time and they reach late, or if I ask them to learn a particular song, and when we're in the band room, I imagine I just transform.
You eat that.
And I take no prisoners when it comes to trying to get things right. You know what I mean? I am not perfect, but I'm a perfectionist.
But you have to come back on the one.
I can. That's right. When it's carnival season and it's time for sound check, and sound check doesn't start on time, I mean, things happen. I don't want to get head over heels or people say, oh, I decide that. No.
I mean, it was just lucky enough that we didn't have to come from morning, but it's still brutal. It's still brutal. And then we have to be...
The rain could fall, sound check time could be from 11 o'clock push back to 1 o'clock whenever the weather is ready. But you mean to tell me every year from 2011, okay? I even scooping away from DYP. There's just an issue with sound check starting on time. So I thought when I started to play with DYP, that would have changed. But nah, that's the most annoying thing.
To tell the story of the Derek Yarde Project, I was injected into the band during the 2023 season. They welcomed us into their band room with no restrictions as they prepared for one of the biggest shows of the year, the opening of St. Lucia Jazz, which would be headlined by DYP and Friends. And we were there as the Friends came through the band room.
And then the Minder Phillip park events happened, and there's just this energy with the bandmates, with the crowd, and you're backing up all these crazy and amazing artists from when I was in preschool, primary school. I'm hearing like Nicole David, Isla Man, all these great artists. It was really good.
Make some noise, St. Lucia. We have more, don't it? Squeeze again. Mountain and dancing to the fullest. You think I joke, don't it? I wanna see how the people are happy to be alive tonight. You know that man, you're singing with me now. We are VIP. Yes, St. Lucia, we are VIP. Sing VIP.
The benefits of a tropical solar water heating system, call 453-1868 in Castries or 454-6344 in Beaufort.
Then there was Moshi Jazz with one of the largest turnouts ever.
Moshi Jazz to me was one of my best gigs with DYP, hands down, by far.
Will you
it was a mixture of the DYP now and the old DYP. And I don't know, the crowd was a mixture of everybody. It wasn't like, sometimes you will go to a gig or you'll go to an event and the crowd is really young and you would be playing one type of music to suit them. And if you play anything, older, they will kind of lose the crowd. But that night it was just perfect. It was perfect.
There was also Babono Jazz, an unconventional small stage, but a totally mesmerized audience.
One of the things that I do when I walk into a venue, especially right before we perform, I like to absorb the energy. It's something spiritual. I can't really explain it. When I come to the venue, I notice the mood of the crowd. I would listen to the repertoire that the DJ is playing before. I would see how people responding to it. I would notice some key individuals in the crowd if I know them, but I'd also notice the behavior of the crowd. Sometimes, depend on the show, if we're coming to close the show or if we're late in the show, sometimes they're tired. Sometimes they're not impressed by what happened before. Sometimes they're excited by what happened before. So you have to know how to deal with that musically. I think when you especially when you're performing for St. Lucians, the most important thing is engaging. And I think one of the strengths that Derek and myself have is interacting with the crowd. Not formally, but just that look me, look you. Here we are, as St. Lucians having a good time. Don't dig nothing, let me just make it happen, we're here to have fun.
That party just started. As a matter of fact, you know what? That was the warm-up. Let's start the party again. You know that tune?
The 2023 Carnival season delivered to revelers the true spirit of St. Lucia, the fetes, the stage shows, the parade of the bands, and of course, the Bam Bam Wall.
Color Me Red was very, very, very nice. Color Me Red was a really good experience in terms of, again, the energy. And I realized once an audience had DYP is coming up, there's just a shift in the atmosphere, kind of, where like there's just hype, anticipation, energy, and it was just really, really, really good.
My favorite show would have to have been Color Me Red this year, but it's for a very unique reason. I'll tell you why. I came to the gig late, and if anybody knows about Pen and lateness, he doesn't like that. So you can imagine our conversation before I got on stage. So my usual nerves before performing, regardless of what show it is, plus the pressure I got from Pen. But just before we got on, he made everything okay. Like we were cool, we were good. Imagine getting a tongue lashing for being late from Pen, if you know Pen. And then before I go on the stage, he come and check, and everything is okay. And honestly, that was so important for me because that's what relaxed me. So that was that. And then getting on stage, I think the reception for that show was good because there actually were some technical difficulties for Color Me Red. Now, I know I'm a very strange person. I see beauty in overcoming a challenge. So imagine you're on stage and you have some technical difficulties. You can imagine another band, another group, another performer. We've seen them fall flat after a technical difficulty, right? Something cuts off, the sound starts to malfunction. That was fixed. Not only was it just fixed, but the crowd stayed with us throughout.
The number one event that stood out to me was, wow. everything was just on point, from the sound to how everyone was sounding, to the energy from the crowd itself. So the crowd gave Penn an energy, Penn gave us an energy, and when I came on stage, I just held the energy. So everybody was we were glued together.
With the advent of Community Carnival, Soufre has almost perfected the Sulphur Carnival brand. Leading up to the event, DYP and Farmer Nappy were contracted to headline the show, which would lead into Juve and the parade of the bands. However, on the same day of the event, permission was not granted for the Juve celebrations, and Sulphur City residents boycotted the final show.
I think a lot of people knew about the show. A lot of people were excited about the show. But whatever went wrong from other ends, it had absolutely nothing to do with the band or the entertainers. I just believe that people took a stand for something. I don't know if it was maybe the Juve. They didn't have the Juve, so they just figured they don't support anything around that time frame. But when I saw the crowd, the little that were there, I always remember that, look, Penn, you all perform for 19 people, you know. You know what I mean? And the few people that are there paid their money for an experience. So, as much as the crowd was small, we gave the same energy that we would give if there was 8,000 to 9,000 people or more.
Ben, we go give them one more. Want to give them one more? Huh? Huh?
Then there was my favorite, an intimate setting at Hotel Chocolat, everyone dressed in immaculate white, and DYP was on fire.
At every performance, we strive for consistency and also a level of professionalism. So what you have now is that the clients who come to us for a performance, they know that they're going to get their money's worth. Consistency and discipline is key every single time. You have to be that professional, even if it might cost you a friendship, but you have to be that professional when it comes to that job and that music business.
When we return,
Are you steel bending and cutting on your construction site? At Caribbean Metals Limited, we use state-of-the-art technology and machinery to fabricate all the steel you need for your foundation. Starter bars, U-links, stirrups, columns, beams, and any bent bar. Reduce your project time, cost, and material. Let Caribbean Metals bend your steel and increase your savings significantly. come in, call, email. We will do the rest. Caribbean Metals Limited. We've got you covered. Guaranteed.
The 2023 Carnival season unfolded as a mesmerizing kaleidoscope of hues, enigmatic costumes and unbridled joy, etching an everlasting imprint on our souls. The streets pulsated and gyrated with soca in every Dennery segment. The parade of the bands was a spectacle of verve. Amidst this symphony of celebrations, the Derek Yarde Project added its unique harmony, bringing a truck brimming with musical ecstasy.
The first day, obviously, you need to come extremely strong. That's where everyone is full of energy, everyone is waiting to hear certain songs, and you need to keep up with the hype. So you could essentially say we're on our feet I'm on my feet. From let's say around 9 o'clock to maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Non-stop playing. Have to give your all, and eventually it begins to feel like second nature, if that makes sense.
It's very taxing on the voice. Being on the road is very different from being in a venue, a closed venue, or a stage where you have monitors. Monitors really help with singing because you're able to hear yourself better. The clearer you hear yourself, the better you're able to sing, the less push or strain you would have on your voice. Now, when you're on the truck, don't really stay on the truck, you'd go down. The truck has monitors, but because it is outside and it's moving, the sound doesn't stay how it should for you to hear yourself. So as a vocalist, it's a lot more strain because you would find yourself singing louder and pushing harder. And it's soca music for 2 days straight for how many hours we're on the road? So it's a strain, it's very strenuous.
For 2 days, DYP provided the tunes for Fusion Mass on the road. It was a cramped, hot, pulsating mobile stage. Pen's sampling machine worked overtime, and everyone from Barry Hype to Joe Knows and even Levi Chin were buried in the sound clash.
Something flipped a switch behind Pen's head, and Pen was just going. And he has his favorite thing where he says 1 Q, 2 Q, 3 Q. And that's his thing. And the thing with Pen, he's like I've been saying, he's very calculated and he understands what the crowd wants and what the crowd would put forward. So he's giving off all this the chance that would get the crowd going.
I don't know if Pen and Jonas know each other very well, so you know already they was doing a little chit chat back and forth, and I don't know if Pen decide, you know what, time's up for you, Jonas, and he just decide, hey. Because I just watch him whenever he goes by his sample and that finger he watch up, he will just give me a signal that just be prepared. But my favorite clash was the Levi one because, boy, I don't know. He didn't give Levi any time to respond. And yeah, the time, I don't know, the timing of everything of that moment was just perfect.
There's 1 Levi, 2 Levi, 3 Levi, and the whole crowd is going. And like, yeah, that gives me, it's like fuel to my fire, to be honest. It gives me more energy to play. Gregory is getting more energy from that. And it's like everyone is just feeding off each other.
A lot of sound systems, when they know something like that is competitive, they try to come better. And it filters right back down to the band having an adequate sound system. So if you know that DYP have a good sound system, you will come in for good sound system. What's going to happen? Your revelers will have more sound, it will project more, the quality of everything, the standard will just raise. So I think there's something great from the sound clash thing.
Musicians in jam bands or semi-professional settings often struggle financially due to the starving artist syndrome for several reasons. Firstly, the niche nature of jam bands limits their audience reach, reducing potential earnings from royalties and merchandise sales. Unlike mainstream genres, jam band music often appeals to a smaller, more specific audience, making it challenging to secure lucrative deals or consistent bookings. Additionally, the irregularity of gigs and the competitive nature of the music industry mean that these musicians face unpredictable income streams. Many are compelled to take on additional jobs to sustain themselves. Moreover, the costs associated with music production, such as equipment, travel, and promotion, can be substantial, and without significant financial backing or a large fan base, these expenses can quickly outstrip income. This financial instability is exacerbated in the digital era, where streaming services offer minimal revenue, especially for artists outside the mainstream, making it difficult for many talented musicians to solely rely on their art for a living. Despite the challenges, the DYP I observed for months appears to be a well-oiled machine, greased by properly paying show promoters and supported by loyal fans.
In a band, music is a feeling. And it's always important to know the mood of your musicians. It's always important to create an atmosphere for your musicians. And as much as, yes, there's a business agenda to get things done and make money and everything, it's very important to know that your musicians are genuinely happy doing what they do.
When it comes to being on stage and executing the task, there are no friends in that. Everybody has to do what they have to do. After the gig, we become family.
The best thing about being in this band is that they never allow me to feel like I should quit. So as much as it is tough sometimes, just trying to be extremely good, just trying to meet the expectations and ensuring that everything is top class, the best thing about being in this band is the support that I get from every single member.
I don't want to sound cocky, but they're a badass drummer. The energy of that man, boy. That, like I said, the energy he brings, it's infectionate, but more or less, Penn and Derek, like, the two of them combine, like, their sound and how Ronnie, me, and the other the other keyboardists and guitarists fit in. That's what sets us apart. Penn is responsible for that. Like I said, he has mastered the craft of music. He has mastered the theory aspect of the business of it too. So, him, when he comes and he talks, like you saw in a classroom, everybody just being quiet. So, he sets that tone, off stage and on stage.
One of the things I've always wanted DYP to become is not just a jam band, but a party experience. I've always visioned that, when people hear DYP, they're like, them fellas going to make me have a good time. They're going to make me get it good. I would love, as a band, we create more. We perform different platforms and create opportunities, and as well developing the next DYP. In 10 years, I would love us to have more recordings, more original material, possibly our own events, where we could feature younger talent, younger bands, and just to be a mentor for those who want to do what we're doing right now.
As DYP The Experience comes to a close, we are left in awe of the remarkable journey undertaken by these talented musicians. From countless rehearsals to the main stage, the Derek Yarde Project has crafted a narrative of resilience, unity, and unwavering dedication to their craft. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder of the transformative impact of music, transcending boundaries and uniting communities. Through every high note and every challenge, the members have remained steadfast in the pursuit of musical excellence, leaving an enduring impression on all who have had the privilege of witnessing their electrifying performances. Their journey is a testament to the power of the human spirit, and we are grateful to have been a part of it.
The fool has never been a good love. The fool has never been a good love. The fool has never been a good love. On and on. The fool has never been told. Give yourself a round of applause, please. You're so wonderful.